what's up, everybody? It's your favorite Bison Murderer's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at TFC's Killbison. I forget what the other name is. Cow Killer. He is okay. We'll get into it. I don't want to take too much time, but let's talk about the Breast Master or whatever, because he was part of the Breast Force. This character is from the Victory series, which is like the Japanese G1 continuity. So it plugs into his chest on this port, as you just saw. And without it, I will say the chest looks pretty plain. Definitely more dynamic with all this in there. And other than that, it's fairly unremarkable, right? Sorry about that. I got a phone call in the middle of the transformation, so I figured we just do it over. So the design of this is pretty brilliant, I think. But let's go through it. So open up the legs, get them down and around, and then let's see here. Fold them down this way. Oh, sorry. And when you do that, you can move this. I think the instructions say to move it first, but it doesn't quite work right. So that snaps back together there, and those two pieces keep the cannon from flipping. And then bring the bull head up, and bring these legs down, and then close this up. And voila. And I think that is pretty cool. I figured that this would be a bit of a throwaway, but I gotta be honest with you, I love it. It's fun, it's interesting, it's new in terms of how they did it. So I tip my hat to them. The head is on a hinge. We got red paint and gray paint up in there, as well as the gold paint there and there. These are on hinges here, and then you can get like a little bit of a butterfly joint, but it kind of destroys the sculpt, so it's pretty much just limited to this hinge here, with the gunmetal gray over top of the red translucent there. The tail wiggles about a bit, and you got a hinge here. It doesn't go down any further than that, really. And then you have this hinge here. So all in all, I think that's pretty fantastic. And then one last thing that you can do with this thing is take the little gun there and flip it out. Bring the legs around until you get the clearance to flip these up, flip these down, and then I think that maybe like that, something like that, and then you can use that as a gun for him, which is a little goofy looking, but the option is available to you. Let's talk about this guy. I will say that like my first impressions of him was that he was kind of light for the size that he is. It's not dreadfully light or anything. It's not like you feel like he's going to float away on you, but he's an awfully beefy bot, and I expected a bit more weight when I picked him up. But whatever. Head, ball joint, you actually get a fair amount up, which is interesting. Not a whole lot down, if anything, maybe that much. And then side to side, no paint on the plastic here anywhere there, which I think is a bummer. You get the silver faceplate painted on, and that's done well enough. And then you have the light piping inside, which works fine, I guess. I'm not a big light piping guy. I kind of feel like it's an antiquated thing and they should just get rid of it. But that's just me. The torso, white plastic with red paint and this gunmetal paint there. This is just this tan plastic with not a lick of paint. This flap here has this gunmetal finish, which all of this darker gray does, which does look good. I just wish there was more of it. And pelvis, silver paint, red paint on top of the beige plastic. Waist swivel works fine. You don't get I guess you can work the 360, but normally it's going to bang up on something, but you still get, what you would need for a pose. Shoulders are on a single hinge here, which even given the kibble, which does articulate on its own set of a double hinge, You get a really, really well articulated shoulder. Pretty fantastic. And then the swivel gets you all the way around, so it's like a makeshift universal joint. And then you get the bicep swivel, single jointed elbow getting you 90 degrees. Not a lick of paint on the white, gunmetal finish on the gray, and then you get a lot of paint on here, but we'll talk about that when we get to alt mode. There is a fair amount of kibble on this guy all around. Here, it's everywhere, but it does get out of your way to let the guy move. So it kind of adds some bulk. At the same time, it's kind of obnoxious. So it's definitely a mixed bag. I didn't plug that back in. Okay. Same on the other side. Hips are universals, just friction universals, which is fine for the leg, but we'll talk about the arms a bit later. Thigh swivel is built into the universal, so it's not a full thigh swivel, but it should get you anything that you need in terms of articulating it. I feel like you would want to turn it, like this is, we've had this discussion all the time, right? But your thigh swivel in real life, like that movement is not even, it's not even this extreme. But there's no other articulation down here to kind of get you all the way around, so I hear that argument as well. Not a lick of paint on the thighs. Oh no, I lied. Gunmetal gray right there on the back. Single hinged knee, getting you 90 degrees. It is an awkward knee though. It's so far up the leg, like it's impossible to kind of get him in any like kneeling position or anything because the calves are so long and the thighs are so short comparatively. Calves and shins, we got this gold paint, which I don't particularly love. It's not very full. It's just kind of there. And then we have the gunmetal paint on the inside, which does look great. Gunmetal paint finish on all the grays, as stated before. We'll talk about this in alt mode. And then feet. No, you get a little bit of a tilt. It's all right. So it's all nonsense, right? But you can fake it. So you have a hinged ball peg here, which gets you a toe tilt, but it's not like a foot. It's not an ankle tilt. It's just a toe tilt. And then you can swivel it on this ball joint, which gets you a rocker, but it's just like a toe rocker. It's not a real ankle rocker, but you can fake it and make it look fine. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the ankle rocker. It's there. It's in terms of aesthetics. It's just not really there, if that makes sense. There he is with Hellbat, and they look pretty good together. And there he is with Scrapper. So, I mean, maybe from head to head, maybe an eighth of an inch smaller. Width-wise, not too much difference there really either, but a lot of that is kibble. All right, let's try to muscle our way through this. So, open up these flaps here and tuck the hands in like 89% of all Transformers. And this is just, the problem here a lot with this guy is clearances and stuff because of all this kibble. So the more you can kind of get out of the way initially, the better off you are. Open up the legs, very kind of Combiner Wars reminiscent. And then this back piece opens up as well. And you kind of got to push there. That went much more smoothly than last time. This rocks down on a double hinge and then folds back up. I think that's it. Let me see. Yeah. And then you kind of got to slide it back in and around. And that gives you the clearance to rock this up and then close that back down, fold the foot up, and bring this down. And that should sit a bit better. Let's see if we can't. Come on, girl. There. So, same on the other side. I already did this one apparently. Open up. And then push this foot through. Come on, This one's a little bit more difficult because the peg on the foot is on the outside, I think. And like, they're identical pieces. So, whatever. That's why. You got to account for this peg. Rock it down on the double hinge. Fold it back up. Feed it back through. Why are you giving me such grief? All right. And then there. Rock her on down. Fold this up. Fold the foot up. Close this in. Easy for me to say. There. Alrighty. Open that up. Untab this head carefully. Fold that in. It's kind of like squares off in a box. Close it back down. Now, these pieces you can untab. And then you can fold this combiner port up and fold these back together, which will collapse now a bit more. Let's see if we can't close these legs up before I have to deal with these arms again. Alright. How did I do this? You spin there. And then you just kind of work this until you can get everything lined up the best you can. There. And then same on the other side. Alright, sorry about that. Just use this bottom piece as a guide because it can eat you up. There's a lot of hinges and stuff. Make sure that that is like that, and that should put you in a good position. So when you're looking at it, just make sure that you can see the elbow hinge and see the outside of the tread, or the bottom of the tread rather. And then work this around. Not my favorite design in that regard. And then close that up. These pieces come down here and tab in there, forming the, you got to make sure that you're tabbed in to the back properly. There. Tab in. Tab in. And then that plugs back in. And there you have it. There is like another thing in here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. A little radar. And then close that back up. And then that's it. Gunmetal gray all looks great on there, and the diamond plating on the back looks fantastic. And then the vents look great. The turret rotates, and then these move up and down. I wonder if No. But yeah, and then actually they can also hinge out if you untab them, and you can bring them down forward and stuff like that. There's a lot of different options that you can do with this tank. All the gunmetal gray looks great on the white as well. But yeah, decent size comparison wise. You know who I'm going to use. There's an MP car, so you know it's definitely a decent size. And also you can take your breast master and plug him in there, and then you can have this articulate as well. This spins too, but mine, like, you see mine is 8 up on that plastic there, which is a bummer. But yeah, so there's that. Now for combine mode, there's actually some pretty interesting stuff going on. So put the radar dish away. Close that down. You can get this up and out of the way because you got to work on these feet. Bring that up. Bring this whole piece up. Bring the feet down. Let's see here. And then you bring them back in and you collapse them so that that little notch goes in that tab there. And then same on the other side. Get these feet out of the way. I feel like there's a better way to... There you go. That looks much better, doesn't it? Not sure why that's giving me so much grief. We'll worry about it later. Bring these up. And I think you should just probably have them like that. Hold on one second. Goodness gracious. I'll tell you what. Kids will get you sick. I guarantee it. Alright. Now get this out of the way and you got to work on the whole top bit. Now what is cool about this, I will say just from a design perspective, is you can have this leg be either way. Like, I think the instructions have it one way. I think the toy was another way. So, doesn't matter. We'll go with what's right is right and left is wrong, right? Bring that out. Bring this piece out. Rock that down. That tabs back in. And then bring that whole piece out and rock it down. And then this tabs back in. Like that. Alright. And then you bring this up, tab it back in. Oh, I don't want to do that. There. Fold it down. And bring that up and plug it back in. There. Uh-oh. What are you doing? What? Yeah, you. Let's see. We'll just go through the gist of it. So bring these feet down, rotate them here, and then here, and rotate them here, and that's pretty much it. They do have this option here to you rotate. Good night, that's tight. They're on like a double hinge here, and they slide forward, and these slide backward. What do you want? BB-8? Alright, I'll get you BB-8. Give me 2 seconds. And then that's it. I I'm worried. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about how stable this is going to be. Now, I'm sure I could get this tabbed in a lot better, especially there. But you get the point. It's supposed to be more for a tutorial, right? But I am worried. The toe tilt is ratcheted. The rocker is ratcheted here, but it has like a toe tilt here too. So I don't know. Nothing on the bottom. Ugh, it's a little foot. But hopefully, I don't know, man. Ooh, boy. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out in the end, but that's it. For the final thoughts, let's talk about the issues. The transformation is not fun. It's fine. It works. You can do it. It's okay. But it's not fun. It feels like work, and that's just not my ideal sort of transformation. I feel like this could definitely use more paint, especially in the bot mode. Like if you look at like the promotional art that they use for him, like you know, like this guy knows, whoever drew this, he knew that it was going to look better with a few more reds thrown up in there. Just little stuff like that. I just feel like it's not striking in that sense. The plastic feels fine. The design and plastic kind of seems similar to Warbotron. I feel like Warbotron's plastic, though, is a bit more dense than this. But it's like in the ballpark. I am not getting the warm and fuzzies from combined mode. It's setting my spidey sense off. You know, outside of the combined mode concerns, which is really unfair for me to judge yet, and outside of the kind of lack of just visual interest that this thing kind of resonates for me with paint and so forth, the big thing for me here is price. This is a $100 figure. And this does not feel like a $100 figure. That's less than $100. That feels far superior to that. This is far superior to that. But you certainly wouldn't be able to tell that from the price. And let me tell you something. Both of those Hades figures hitting out of nowhere, that price hurt.
Oh, another email. I wonder if it's a company contacting me for another review. And 200. Oh, Jesus.
But there are good things going on here too. The articulation is fine. The materials are good. The paint where it is applied is applied well. The accessory is super cool. Like the little breast former, like he's super fun and super interesting just in terms of how they designed him. Like really impressive. The alt mode works really well. Looks good. So like everything kind of checks the big boxes. It's just the main issue being the price for what you're getting. It just doesn't feel appropriate. Now, I don't know if we're going to see another company tackle this set. If we do it, I would imagine it wouldn't be for a while. So it depends, I guess, on how much you love the Lyle Kaiser kind of idea. I'm not super in love with it, but I love it enough to kind of get it. But this is going to be a $600 purchase when it's all said and done. And I can tell you right now, it ain't adding up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.